Hello, in this episode of Kenny Cool, I'd like to share with you a recent experience that is both humbling and was completely surprising to me. It's a long story, but I'm going to keep it short, keeping with my 5-minute tradition. And so I'm going to switch over to the web view to get the story started. Yesterday was announced that I was a member of the 2019 Tableau Zen Master class, which was the surprising thing. I had no idea that was coming. And the road that it took me to get here was quite long, and I want to share a few of the highlights and feelings that I had along that path. So when I got the phone call originally from Amanda, I didn't understand what she was asking me. I thought she was asking me for advice or commentary, or I wasn't sure because I didn't expect the call. In fact, when the call came in, my reaction
100%.
felt like Jackie Gleason.
Humma, 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 humma.
That's exactly what I felt like. In fact, I couldn't have really said it any better than myself. I felt like I was at a loss for words in describing my feelings at that time. I have as a kid I watched this show called Underdog, and this is Underdog here. And in a way, I feel like I've been an underdog through many years of doing the work that I do. I just sort of do the work and don't expect anything in return. And the underdog theme, really, I want to share something with everybody that I've never shared before. This is a letter that I wrote in the year 2010. Now, I started using Tableau in 2008, February of 2008, so now it's my 11th year of using Tableau. And what I want to show is this is my usage of Tableau from 2008 forward, and I started off like everybody else just learning how to use it. And within 2 years, by the year 2010, I was using it very frequently. I had a couple of years of learning. At that time, there were a few key people who were writing articles. Andy Kriebel was writing articles. Joe Mako was answering people's questions. And Jonathan Drummy was active, but Joe Mako was my primary go-to guy, and I would write him some questions every once in a while, and sometimes he could answer them, sometimes he couldn't. But we were kind of pioneers at that time, and Andy Kriebel was ahead of the crowd. He was already blogging like a madman. And so by 2010, I had already known that I wanted to make a career working with Tableau. It was very obvious to me. And so what I did was I wrote this letter to Tableau. I'm not going to read it, but basically I said, my name's Ken Black and I want to work for Tableau. And quite simply, Tableau is the most revolutionary software product I've ever used. And the reason for that is I'm going to share it with you in some upcoming episodes. If you look at the timing of when my career began and the advent of PCs and computers and software, all of that stuff taken together, I was at the early onset of data visualization. So the things I'm going to show you in the future are really early examples of data visualization and how hard it was back then to do things. So when I got to Tableau in 2008, I knew immediately that this was a paradigm shift in data visualization, making my job a lot easier. So I write this letter to Tableau telling them I want to be this guy for them, and I define the job. The problem was they didn't have the job. So 2 years go by and have a baby in 2011, 2012. My wife and I pack up the baby. We go down to Atlanta to the Tableau Roadshow, and I meet several key people. And again, I try to convince them, hey, you need to hire me. No, didn't work out that time either. So I'm strike two. 2010, I'm out. 2012, I'm out. So I thought, okay, well, I'll just keep going. I'll just keep trying. And so I started blogging in 2013, continued to this day, Really, the whole purpose of the blogging has been to help people. It helps me remember what I do, but it also, the intent is to help people. It's not about me or attention. So I continued to do that through all these years. Well, two watershed moments for me. When Tableau released their initial certification program, I called Joe Mako and I said to him, "Hey Joe, do you think I should go ahead and get Tableau certified?" He said, "Well, why would you want to do that?" Now this, I don't know what year this was, maybe 2014 roughly. And he said, "Why would you want to do that?" And I said, "Well, I want people to know that I know how to work with Tableau." And he kind of chuckled at me. He says, "Well, don't even worry about that. I'll write you a letter that says how good you are. I'll just tell people that this guy really knows what he's doing." I said, "Well, how would you even know that?" And he knew that because of what I was writing in my blog. And Joe had worked with many people throughout the world, so that was kind of like the first stamp of approval that I got, that I knew that I was on the right track. And so a few more years go by. The funny thing is, I meet up with Alteryx. Alteryx recognizes my ability working with their software, become an Alteryx ace for the last 4 years. And I was giving a presentation in Las Vegas. I don't know what year it was, but it was a couple of years ago, I guess. And unbeknownst to me, Jonathan Drummey was in the audience in the front row. And after my talk, this guy who had a beard, I didn't recognize Jonathan because of his beard, came up to me, and then I recognized him. We gave each other a big hug. My wife was like, "I've never seen you hug anybody like that before." But it was that appreciation that I have for Jonathan and his work that came out in that hug. And during the time I got to meet with him and to discuss different things, he told me, he said, "Hey Ken, your stuff's too technical. It's too advanced. Most people don't get it. Whatever. It's just too scientific, or whatever the deal was. That's probably why you're not going to be a Tableau Zen Master." So I'm like, okay, well, and I'm thinking, in the meantime, I'm listening to this, I'm thinking, this is the dude that writes the most technical stuff. I mean, I'm not anywhere near where he is in terms of writing the detailed, meticulous blog posts. He's the best at it, period, and the most detailed and meticulous. So I kind of thought, okay, that's why, and so at that time, I just basically said, I'm never going to be a Tableau Zen Master, and that's fine. It was not my intent. I mean, I always had visions of it. I always wanted to do it, but I knew it wasn't going to happen because my blogging mission was changing from just pure Tableau to problem solving with Tableau and Alteryx, and then even beyond that, thinking in terms of how do you strategically use analytics to solve really big problems. And so I felt like, I've kind of moved beyond my Tableau visibility, and in fact, that was just the way I felt about it. So when this call came in, and I pulled the Jackie Gleason humana, I had no idea that it was coming, and so it was quite humbling, and I'm very appreciative of it. But at the same time, I'm 10, 11 years down the road now, and the point of this video, the whole reason for me making this, is to reach out to the people who aspire to achieve greatness in their career. And my road is a long road, and there's a lot of details in here that I'm bypassing. But what I want to tell you is you just have to keep working. You have to be the underdog. You have to outwork everybody. You have to just keep learning, and you keep working. And eventually, these things, these ideas, and these tools and techniques merge with your brain, and they don't become a tool in itself. It becomes a tool to solve problems and to do great things. And eventually, it's an extension of you. For me, Alteryx and Tableau allow me. I'm an Alteryx ace. Alteryx ace, starting with A, and Tableau Zen, starting with Z, allows me to go from A to Z across an entire analytics project. Those two software packages are all you need. And that's pretty remarkable. And that's what makes this stuff so great. And I know this because I'm working in other technologies too. I'm working in R, I'm working in Python, I'm working in PySpark, and all kinds of things. The combination of Alteryx and Tableau is pretty special. And I think 40 years of experience has led me to this point. I've programmed in 10, 11, 12 different programming languages, and I know a lot about that. But these two packages are very special, and I think people who take the time to really learn them and take the time to use them continually on your job and to keep pushing and keep working, great things are in your future. So that's the purpose of this video. Thanks for listening. I know it's kind of long-winded, but I wanted to get that out there to people who are thinking about this for their future. So thank you, Tableau. It's quite an honor and privilege to represent the 2019 Zen Masters.